Hello, welcome to this next video on GetComponent. This is the second part of the GetComponent videos. So this topic is going to include using different scripts to separate logic into different components. Also using GetComponent to get a component that's attached to the same game object as a script that we're working in. And also caching references to components. So far we have a player collision script. If we click on the player here, we can see the scripts. We have movement script and a player collision script that are attached to the player. Now what we would like to do is we'd like to have a way to continue to actually count the coins that we're collecting. So if we hit this coin, we get 5 points, or this one's 10, this one's 5. Hit one later on, we get some more coins, get some more points. We'd like a way to keep track of that. Now in our player collision script, we could have some variable called number of coins collected, and every time we hit a coin, we add to that value. But as our project gets more complex, it's going to be important to separate these different ideas, this different logic into different components. So let's go make a new script, and we're going to call it coin counter. And it's going to be a fairly simple script, but it's going to allow us to just keep our logic separate to keep track of how many coins we've collected. Okay, let's attach coin counter to our player, and I'm going to drag it up with the rest of the scripts just so they're all together. Here's coin counter. Double click on that little rectangle here. It'll open up the coin counter script. I'm going to define a private field called coin count, and I'll let you decide if you want that to be an int or a float depending on what data type your value for coins are, but mine is an int, so I'm going to keep counting coins using ints. And now when we actually collide with a coin, well, we want to actually go and get a reference to this coin counter script so that we can change this coin count. Right, it starts at 0, for example, but now we want to increase it because we just hit a coin. We want to increase it by a certain amount. So the question is, how can we do that? And in player collision, we need to be able to talk to the coin counter script. So one way we can do that is when we hit a coin and we get this, this coin component, we can then go as well and get the coin counter component. But instead of writing other.getComponent, we can just write getComponent directly and write coin counter, which is the type of thing we want to get a reference to. So getComponent coin counter, when there's no other dot in front of it, what that's doing is it's looking on the same game object as player collision. So player collision is on the player, this parent, and so it's going to look for a coin counter on that same player. And so if you look in the inspector, well, here's the coin counter script, so sure enough that should work. And we can store a reference to that coin counter script in this variable called coin counter. Awesome. So this coin counter is this particular component attached to the player, and instead of debug.log the value of the coin, let's just say coin counter equal coin counter dot coin count equals, well, it's going to be the same amount as it had before, and we're going to add whatever value the coin gives us. So let's say coin dot get value. But of course, coin count is private, right? This is the same issue we ran into in the previous videos, where we're not able to either read coin count or assign to it. We're not able to change the value of coin count. And so for now, let's go and make this a public int called coin count. And in the next video, we're going to change this so that we can make it private again. and also read from it. But for now, we will leave this as public. So the coin count is going to increase by get value. Okay, that's very good. Let's just test this to make sure it works. We'll test it by going debug.log coin counter .coin count. So we'll print the new value of the coin count, and we should make sure we know what the initial value is. So in coin count, let's just go to awake. So awake is the first model behavior method that's called when a script starts up. We'll just make sure that coin count gets set to 0 at the beginning of this script's life. So coin count is 0, and now let's play it and let's see what we get in the console. All right, so the player hits this coin, and coin count is now 10. If the player hits that coin again, coin count is now 20. Let's hit the 5 coin. Sure enough, we get 25 and 30. So that looks like it's working. Very nice. Now, something to note about GetComponent is that it's fairly slow. How GetComponent works is it looks on the game object where it's looking for the component, and it checks every one. And it says, is this component a coin counter? So for example, on the player, it'll say, is this a coin counter? No, it's a transform. Is this a coin counter? No, it's a capsule collider. Is this a coin counter? No. No. Eventually it finds one that is, and it says, here's the coin counter. I'll give you the reference to it. There's the coin counter script. So if we're doing that every time we have a collision, this line of code, in a more complex game with lots going on, could end up being pretty inefficient and slowing our program down. And so this is a situation where we want to see if we can cache or store this reference so we don't have to call GetComponent all the time. And in this player collision script, or I should say this player collision script is attached to the same game object as this coin counter, and neither of these two are changing. These are the same. The values might change, but the actual components are going to be there the whole game. And so that's a situation where when player collision starts up, right away it can go get a component, the coin counter, and just hold on to it in a field. And every time it wants to use it, it already has it saved. So that's a good situation to put a field in and to use awake. So let's go private, and the data type of this field is going to be coin counter, and we'll give it a name called coin counter, just a lowercase c. That's the name of this field. And now in awake, we can make sure that we go and we get a reference to this coin counter. So now coin counter is stored, it's cached. So that's cached, and now when we want to actually go and change a value in the coin counter, well, let's erase this GetComponent. I'll put it in a comment for now. And now this coin counter that we're referring to is no longer this one that we defined here. It's gone. Okay, I'll get rid of it actually. This coin counter is actually the cached coin counter from before. So coin counter.coinCount is equal to coin counter.coinCount plus the new value. And then we can print the coin count again. So that's another use of GetComponent is to cache a value to a component that you don't want to be going and getting frequently throughout the game. Your challenge now is to cache a reference to the coin counter script in the player collision script. So we just did that, but if you haven't done it, make sure you cache a reference to it. And then when the player hits an obstacle, I want you to decrease the player's coin count by whatever the value of coin penalty is. That coin penalty from the obstacle script. And then use debug.log to view the new value of coin count whenever it changes. So I'll let you pause the video and try that challenge. All right, welcome back. Good job trying the challenge. So this logic here is all for hitting a coin. I might condense this a little bit. Those three lines are pretty related. And I'll put a comment up here just to separate collision with coin, and we'll add another space here, and we'll add a comment that says collision with obstacle, just to keep ourselves organized. And now what do we need to do? So if we hit an obstacle, let's go get that obstacle component like we've already done. And now we can actually use the cached value of coin counter, that reference to that component, and we can say coin counter dot coin count is equal to coin counter dot coin count minus whatever that obstacle wants to take away. So the obstacle is going to take away the coin penalty. So we can say we hit the obstacle, that's the name of the component there. So it's going to be obstacle dot get coin penalty. And let's make sure that that's working. So let's debug.log coin count again. And just make sure that that's actually changing by the right amount as well. Okay, so we'll make sure the obstacle has a coin penalty there. It does. Okay, and the player starts with a coin count of 0. So let's go and drag the player, get some points. Now we have 10, 20, 30, 35, 40. That's all working. When we hit the obstacle, we should see 38, 36, 34. It's decreasing by 2 every time. So that looks like it's working. And we actually have these various scripts and these various objects talking to each other. And that's really the goal of GetComponent. So that's fantastic. In the next video, we're going to see how, once again, we can fix this issue of having these, this public field on coin count, how we can actually be able to change the coin count without having the variable be public. So that's going to be the next video. We'll see you there.